Is it time for you to give yourself permission to want more out of life? Well, for me, it is. I'm going to talk to you today about what that means to want more out of life. And I don't mean more stuff, more things. We don't need bigger homes necessarily. We don't need nicer cars. I'm not talking about that. More clothes, fancier, Instagrammable vacations. I'm not talking about any of the material things. I'm talking about day-to-day engagement in life, feeling that you are fulfilled, that you have purpose, that you have joy in your life, and you have stronger connections with people. That's what I'm talking about. More out of life. If you are watching this video, chances are that you have been a person who has given to others for most of your adult life. And I think when you reach a point when you're 40, 50 and beyond, that it's time for you to give to yourself, time for you to take a little bit for yourself instead of always being the person who sacrifices and gives to others. That's going to be a difficult thing to undo if you've been taught since you were young and spent most of your adult life in that pattern. But probably if you're watching still, you are hungry for a little bit more in life for yourself. And I'm going to say that now is the time to give yourself permission for that. When I say wanting more out of life, I don't mean that you can't be still grateful, that you shouldn't be grateful for what you already have, because never in the history of humankind have we had more. We certainly have more material things and more conveniences. We even have more human rights than we ever had before. Of course, we need to work on some of those things still. There's lots of room to grow and to do better by people, but definitely we're doing pretty well for ourselves, especially in the Western world. So we need to be grateful for those things. Absolutely. And gratitude is really important because it does help you to feel more joy in your life. You do look around with fresh eyes when you take a moment to look at all that you have and who's around you and how you spend your day. And that feels really good, and that brings a strong sense of satisfaction and joy when you recognize that you did something that had purpose and meaning. So it's very good to like keep a journal and write down in your journal what you're grateful for and what it is that you can recognize in your life currently that you have that you need to be grateful for. Absolutely be grateful. But I'm going to suggest that you can be grateful and ambitious at the same time. You can want more and be grateful for what you already have. It's not like you're not grateful for what you have because you want a little more vitality, a little more energy in your life, a little more connection and more adventure and fun. There's nothing wrong with wanting more of that for yourself. You can be grateful and ambitious at the same time. Those two things can coexist. So go ahead and write in your journal the things that you are grateful for, but also take a moment to write in your journal, what is it that your heart really wants? What's really pulling at you and nagging at you? If you could truly have it, no holds barred, nothing holding you back, no one holding you back, what could you have? What would you want to have if you could? Another tool, I guess you could call it, is to look at what it is that you are envious of in others. To look at other people, because we do all the time on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. We look at what other people have in their lives and we think, oh, I wish I could have what she has or he has. And I wish that my life was more like, and of course we know on Instagram, things are portrayed in a certain way and we don't see all of their problems and their stresses and their worries. But there is a little tug sometimes when we look at what other people have and we think it would be really nice to have that for myself. And we are a little bit envious. And when you're envious, you can feel envy, we know, is a sin and it's a bad thing, but you could also look at envy in a way as a compass, I would say, as something that points you in the direction to work towards what it is you really want. Because if you feel that tug of envy, perhaps that's a little signal to you that's saying what's deep in your heart, something that you might really want. So if you feel that moment of envy in someone else, a friend or family member that has something that you want, you can use it as a compass, as a guide to point you in the direction to get that for yourself. So instead of just feeling bad for being envious, use it. Use that as a signal to help you get to go in the direction that you need to go so that you can live the life that you want. We are working towards building our next best life on this channel. And my name is Lana, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, probably you are, because this channel is brand new and I don't have a lot of subscribers. But if you are new, thank you for coming and watching to this point. I'm calling this channel My Next Best Life because that's what I'm trying to do. I retire in 6 months and my life is going to dramatically change. And I want to be able to use that time, that next period of my life, to build my next best life. So I'm going to be grateful for what I have, but I also still want more. I want to give myself permission to want more so that my life is the best it can be. And when I see things that other people have, it tells me something about myself, that maybe I've been suppressing a desire because I spent most of my life as a teacher and a mother and a giver in general, and rather than taking for myself. And I just think that I'm coming to the end of my career. It's time now for me to have more of the things that I want. Another thing you can do to help give yourself permission to want more in life is to examine inherited stories, the way that you have been raised, within the culture you've been raised, in the family you've been raised, and how have you been held back? How have you been told no? When have you been told no? Is that your voice saying no to things, or is that someone else's voice, a parent, a teacher, or society in general, that says you shouldn't want more for yourself because it makes you selfish, it makes you greedy? Or who do you think you are? We've all heard those conversations where people talk about someone else and they say, who does she think she is? By examining those inherited stories, you can come to understand what or who has been holding you back. So you can write yourself an actual permission slip in your journal. You could write something like, I want to live a life of adventure while also simplifying my life. Or, I want a career that excites me, even though my current one is fine. And just because your current life is fine and everything is okay and acceptable, and you do have enough resources, you do have enough to take care of yourself, it doesn't mean that you can't have a little bit more. It doesn't mean that you can't be a little bit happier. It's time to move from scarcity to abundance logic. This means pay attention when you catch yourself saying things like, there isn't enough time, or I'm too old, or my best years are behind me, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have a supportive partner in my life to help me accomplish things. Those are phrases that are holding you back. Instead of saying you don't have enough time, look at what you can do right now. You have capacity right now. What can you do to give yourself a little more time to get what you want? Can you cut out a little bit of screen time, for example? Can you say no to a boss who's piling on a task, or a family member that's asking you to carry more of the load? Maybe you can make some shifts in the different aspects of your life to have more time for right now. Instead of saying your best years are behind you, look at what you have now that you didn't have when you were younger, such as wisdom and clarity and patience, perhaps. Look at those skills that you now have that have compounded over time. So there are trade-offs as you grow older, you get more of some skills and maybe some others diminish. Maybe you have a little bit less energy, but you have more wisdom. Maybe you have different interests now that you didn't have when you were young. And so the things that might have been important to you before are no longer important to you. So you have different priorities. So your best years are not behind you. Your best years are the years you're living right now. Instead of saying, I don't have enough money, there are creative ways to create income. And money is all around us. It's available to everyone. You are not limited by the income that you are earning right now. You can get a side hustle. You can pivot into a different career. Money is everywhere. You just have to go get some for yourself. You can start creating passive income for yourself right now. And in a few short years, you will change your economic situation around in surprising ways. Everyone is capable of making more money. Try to think in abundance terms. And I know that this has been talked about in lots of woo-woo ways. I'm not talking about manifestation. I don't believe in manifestation per se. I do believe in having a positive mindset and working towards the goals by pointing your thoughts and energy towards those goals. Carol Dweck wrote a book about mindset, and there is science behind the idea of directing your thoughts towards your goal and pointing yourself in the direction that you want to go, and using your thinking to help guide you in that direction. Think of abundance, which is a positive direction, not scarcity, which is a negative direction. The more positive you are, the more you think of in terms of abundance, the more likely you are to get what it is you want out of life. Something else you can do is to use the younger self visualization technique, where you look back to who you were as a child and think of the things that you were dreaming about and hoping for in your life. If you were to talk to that child, would you suppress her dreams or would you encourage them? If you wouldn't suppress your childlike dreams, then why are you doing that to your adult self now? Give yourself the encouragement and the permission to work towards creating your next best life. Also, try to have a beginner's mindset, a childlike mindset, where you are willing to take small risks and not worry about making mistakes so much, and just dreaming big and trying to work towards getting those dreams. Having a beginner's mindset means that you're more likely to try, and if you're more likely to try, you're more likely to succeed. You are more open, you are more willing to receive the things that you need, and you don't worry about what others think about you, and you don't hold yourself back, and you don't let others hold you back either. Have a beginner's mindset and take steps towards creating your next best life. That's all I have for today's video. I hope that you are working towards your next best life. If you are, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I'm working towards creating my next best life. My name is Lana, and thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your precious time with me today. Bye for now.